Hi there and welcome to this very exciting brand voice workshop. I'm super excited to have you here and I can't wait to get stuck in. A lot of people find brand voice to be quite confusing. It's a bit of an elusive beast. What even is it? So today we're going to break down a whole bunch of stuff about it because, as John Farnham says himself, you're the voice, try and understand it. All right, so as we go on, this is me. I am Danielle Reid. I'm the founder of Reid City Writing. In case you were wondering who is this random person, I'll give you a little spiel about me. So I'm a copywriter and I specialize in brand voice. This kind of came about after I myself in my copywriting business was speaking in a way that I felt I was supposed to be rather than what I actually was and what my ideal clients wanted to hear from me. I am in the early days of my business had a graphic designer design my brand, as a lot of us do, and he had very different visions for me than I did, and basically was going to make me a corporate copywriter who was going to grow an agency of other people around me, and it was going to be a very black and white corporate. If you haven't noticed already, that's not really me. So what I did was I did a big rebrand and I started thinking about how I had started to try and become this brand that wasn't really me and wasn't really targeted towards the sorts of people who I wanted to be working with. So it got me thinking about language and how we use it. Also, how we stand out against our competitors. Competition over cooperation, collaboration over competition, all of those things. But at the end of the day, we do want to stand out in our market no matter what field we are in. And brand voice is a really excellent way of doing that. We're going to get into what exactly brand voice is soon. I'm also the host of the Reid City Writing or Reid City Radio, which is my podcast, which we talk about all things creative, being a creative business owner, and how to get heard, basically. And also I have created a brand personality playlist quiz, which you can find over at my Instagram at Reid City. It's super fun to take, and at the end you get a playlist which is in line with your brand personality, which is all to do with Carl Jung's archetypes of the human psyche, and it's applied to your brand. And it gives you a bit of an idea of how you can use language to get your message across with your personality of your brand. So anyway, go check that out when you get a chance because it is really fun. Anyway, that is me. Today, what we're going to cover is what brand voice is. As I said earlier, a lot of people get quite confused by brand voice. What is it? I just have things that I need to tell people. I have information that people need to know. A lot of the time we get stuck in the idea of, yeah, of course, value add, but we get stuck on that subject matter, not so much how we communicate that with our audiences, and that's really important. So we're going to be jumping through that. We're going to be jumping through why voice matters, and I know that this is sometimes a difficult battle for me to have because many people feel that yes, brand voice is an element of a brand, but to me I feel that it makes a huge difference between brands, and as you will soon see, it does to consumers as well, which is really exciting because it's something that you can learn to do yourself as well. We're going to also go through what makes up a brand voice and then how you can stay consistent, because essentially it takes 5 to 7 times interactions with a brand for someone to remember you. And if they are finding you in all different places and you're all different voices, maybe you are super chirpy, whoa over here, and then really like cynical, negative, like, come on guys, everything is, not great over here, then it's not going to make a memorable, consistent message that people are going to be able to connect with time and time again. And I've got some examples to show you exactly what I mean and how brand voice is already influencing you through other brands as well. So it's going to be really fun. What is brand voice, I hear you ask? Good question. So brand voice, this is a quote that I particularly like because it is a good, succinct summary of what brand voice is. So according to Larson, brand voice is the purposeful, consistent expression of a brand through words and prose, styles that engage and motivate. It's true. The personality of your brand is determined in large measure by the words you use and the sentences you write. So just like us humans, people we go to parties with, our brands have personality too. So it's really important to be able to convey that personality through your written language. And there are many linguistic ways of doing this, which you may already be doing but aren't conscious of. And I think the biggest part of this here is that it is purposeful and it is consistent. So we want to be really intentional with our brand voice, and we want to be really consistent everywhere we go, as I said before, to create that memorable brand. Adding the odd babe at the end of a sentence here, or, getting a bit whoa, LOL over here is not really going to cut it. What we need to do is create brands with voices that are holistic, in that wherever we go, people know who we are. So basically, I wanted to run you through some examples so that you can see brand voice in action, and how it can differentiate brands within the market. So if we look to skincare, or the beauty skin area of the market, of course there are many labels, there are many emerging labels, there are many long-standing labels. So how are these brands getting through to their ideal customer in different ways so people remember them? First, we've got Dove. So here they say the home of real beauty. Already the word home is making us feel like, ooh, cozy. For over a decade, whoa, they know their stuff. We've been working to make beauty a source of confidence, not anxiety, and here's where the journey continues. This was just pulled, all of these examples are just pulled from the homepage of each website. And of course, as we know, our homepage on our website is often the first place that people interact with our brand or discover us sometimes. If your SEO is up to scratch, I have a course on SEO for beginners if that's something that interests you. Did not mean to shamelessly plug there. So basically, the first lot of text that you're seeing on a website, you're wanting to show your identity, show what you're about, what you're here for. Dove is not saying we are here for soap. We got soap here, we got soap there, we got soap for everybody. They're saying that we're the home of real beauty, and that they want their beauty to make beauty a source of confidence, not anxiety. It's a very positive messaging, very feeling like you're part of a community, and journey is kind of like, oh, there's ups and downs, and that's okay. This soap company gets me. So it's interesting to see that then if we look at other brands in the same space, how different they can be. So go to skincare, which I'm sure you've heard of. They are really getting a lot of praise for their brand voice because it is so unique and different in essentially an overcrowded marketplace. So here we've got no nasties, irritants, or silly claims. Now, immediately we're seeing a really down-to-earth tone of voice. I must say quickly that tone of voice is changing all the time. Your voice is consistent. So tone is across platforms, might be different. And your emails might be different to your social media, might be different to your pitching to a large corporation, etc. So we can see that this is really down to earth language. Nasties, it's not chemicals, and silly claims. So using words that you would actually say out loud. Go to won't beep beep. Oh, it's so naughty. Wow, this is an edgy brand. Your skin. In fact, it will calm the heck out of it. I love their language so much. And if you've ever purchased from GoTo as well, this is where the consistency comes in. From their website to their packaging to their emails, all consistently have this style of language that is more, I guess when we look at Dove compared to this, it's more like, hey girl, you got this. Whereas Dove is more serious and more confidence building and less anxiety. And this one's like, hey, let's calm down your skin. So as you can see already, they're very different personalities. Obviously, visuals have a part to play in this as well. But can you imagine if they had these playful visuals and then their voice was like, go-to is an organic skincare company specializing in face oils or something along those lines. Little personality. Here, all we know is that it's nice for our skin, and that's all we really want to know at this point in time. Now, let's have a look at another. So we've got Corona, sorry about the terrible image quality. You win some, find your beach. All right, we've got a beautiful oasis, but within the writing, it's like, ha ha ha, yeah, there's no losing here. It's a very well-known term of you lose some, you win some, or win some, lose some. Find your beach, which is kind of like find your space, like you've got this relax, creating an emotional connection, but also very succinct in the language, and it's not talking about beer. It's talking about the experience of a brand. Then if we contrast this with VB, tools down, feet up for a hard-earned thirst, we immediately feel that this is very masculine. This is very for your man who likes to play with tools, the guy who wants to kick back with a beer at the end of the day, hard-earned thirst, like hard worker, hard-earned as in, yeah, you've been working really hard. Whereas if I'm not sure how to go back to Corona without skipping ahead, and I don't want to do that. But with Corona, they were very much for everyone. You win some, very neutral. This feels that they are speaking directly to that masculine man. And of course, this is through the visuals as well. But you can see quickly that in a few short words, you can make it really well known of who you're talking to and what they can expect from purchasing from your brand. Let's have a look at another one. Are you buying wine the smart way? Find out now. Only 4 questions. What's more, you'll get $50 worth of wine. Let's get started. So this is a wine subscription service. This was from their homepage as well. Behind it is like a Australian outback sort of scene, making me think, oh, this maybe is organic wine. I'm not sure. Are you buying wine the smart way? So this is for someone who is a conscious purchaser perhaps, or wanting to save a buck, or is wanting to create a better purchase for themselves. I personally don't like using the word buy in a heading because it seems like you're jumping the gun that someone is going to purchase from you immediately. But the let's get started is good because it makes you feel as though you're not locked in, but you can explore some more. But then if we contrast this with Good Pair Days, my favorite brand of all time. Well, at the moment, they definitely are. I love them. So pairing is caring, playful. Look at those colors. Look at this hand. It's like very modern in a look. But then when you look at what they are writing as well, discover, discover is a fun word. Discover wines paired to your tastes, delivered to your door. Immediately I'm thinking it's going to be something I like, it's going to come to me. How easy is that? Amazing, cool. It's not saying, am I buying wine the smart way? It's just saying, hey, you want some wine? And we'll get it to you, the sort that you like. Similarly, in the images, you can see there's a bottle of wine and a piece of pizza. The whole mission of this brand is to bring wine, loving wine, down to a down-to-earth level. And so you'll find, I urge you strongly to look at their website. They've got a quiz to see what type of wine you'd like. And all of their voice is very focused on not making you feel silly if you don't know what a buttery wine is or what that means. They're very, easy, a good friend, kind of like made at the bar type of personality of a brand, and they're very, very fun. And then if we look at some Furbies, so cute, little cute faces. Our new arrival, it's like, oh, newborn baby, so cute. I think that's cute. Furby babies will soon be here, ready to love and eager to play. These new Furby babies have personalities of their own. Coming soon, collect them all. little cute faces, cute little baby imagery in the background too, like, oh, so cute. Our irresistible range of Furby toys and games is now available in store. Irresistible is a very strong word. I picked both of these because they're quite different, but both for the same type of product. But then, remember this voice of our new arrival. These guys are called Fugglers, and on their homepage they say, you really want one of these things. Their brands are very clever in that it's a very self-deprecating, and it's also like, oh, these are so ugly. And that's a really strong part of their personality throughout everything that they're writing. They're like, beware, like, are you sure you actually want one of these? Because they're pretty gross. Again, another brand to definitely look at for some voice inspiration. Can you see a little bit how these voices are very different? And of course, yes, as I said, there are visual components to that are creating that brand experience, but the words we use have a real impact and weight on how we are perceived and who we are for, knowing that we are for them. So why does it matter though? Seriously, like, is this all just fun and games? Is this just finding pretty words and then using them where I can and then hoping that people recognize me? So 94% of people said they'd be highly likely to recommend a brand that they were emotionally engaged with. Now, we have to think, this is a huge statistic, and it is correct. I've got your source there. It's not made up. Basically, people want to feel emotionally engaged with brands. And how do you do that? Yes, understanding your pain points. Yes, understanding what you want and what your solutions might be. And being human. Human voices connect with human minds. And it's really important that we speak to humans in the same way as we would another human when we are talking from our brand. I don't care if your ideal customer is a lawyer in some high rise in San Francisco or a board member for some big membership place. Humans are humans, and when we bring our brands to a human level, we are able to create those emotional connections that our audience cares about. This also ties into brand values, which we'll get through to in a moment. So 89% of shoppers stay loyal to brands that share their values. 89%. That's pretty huge, wouldn't you say? So our brand values are super important. I know that if you are a solopreneur or your own boss, you may have done an exercise when you first started your business and had to write down your values. And so you did a quick little 4 or 5 words, wrote them in a book, put that book in a cupboard, put that cupboard on a boat, and never went after that boat, and it was gone forever. But the thing is, with values, they're a super important part of how our brands connect with people and how they differentiate from others. So I would urge you strongly to have a look at your values, because if you are sharing your ideal customers' values, you're going to have more of a chance of really connecting with them. And think about what it is that your ideal customer values. What do they want to see from a brand like yours? And making sure that your values are not just in that book on that boat. Making sure that they are things that are lived, that your brand could not possibly exist without. I like to keep it to 3 because it makes it really succinct. And that if in 100 years and you are no longer a part of your brand, would your brand still have these values? Because they should, and that's a fun little exercise. And 90% of users expect a similar brand experience across channels. This comes back to that consistency that we were speaking about earlier, which is basically that you want to be saying the same things in similar ways across channels to give the overall message. If you're selling loungewear, you're not selling shorts and tops. You are selling an experience that people can feel. Is your experience a, hey, take a load off, go get the Netflix, pop on your jammies and let's do it? Or is it a luxurious, unwinding experience? You can already see that if you were to have one of those examples here, and then if you go to an email or so your social media to an email, one saying luxurious experience, woo, and the other one's going, go on, mate, take your shoes off. Very, very different. So it's really important that we're consistent. And I'll go through how you can make sure that you're being consistent a little later on. But you might be thinking as well, what does this mean to my bottom line? What does this mean to the money that I'm actually making as a brand? So the average revenue increase attributed to always presenting the brand consistently is 33%. So if you can increase your revenue by 33% simply by being consistent everywhere so that you're attracting the right people, I think that's a pretty good gig, wouldn't you say? And I won't have too many stats, but I just wanted to get the point across that it is super important. So 82% of consumers feel more positive about a brand after reading customized content. They don't want your stock standard, here are the facts all of the time, no personality, robot man. They want customized content that's made specifically for them, customize things to things that they care about in a way that you speak originally. And that also could be around, like specific timestamps, social affairs, that type of thing, to show that you're real people experiencing the real world as well. Whoa. But yet, still, just 48% of employees believe their leadership team, corporate communication, HR, and marketing departments speak about their brand with a unique voice. This is pretty insane that although brand voice is so important, many people are feeling that they're not expressing brands in an original or unique way. So this is a really great opportunity for you, no matter what industry you're in. There are so many places that you can stand out, and that's a pretty cool place to be right now. So what makes up a brand voice? Good question. Again, you're full of these great questions today. So maintaining fundamental beliefs across content, advertising, and social media. This is just a little sentence that I wrote to sum it up in one sentence, but basically expressing your beliefs in a way that is original and true to you everywhere you are, consistently, is the kind of shebang of what it is. But how do you do that? How? Well, it comes back to these three elements: vision, values, and voice. Wouldn't that have been easier if they were all three different letters? Unfortunately, no, 3 V's. So your vision, where are you going? What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to be saying about you when you are not in the room? Where are you headed? What's on the horizon? Your values, what's ingrained within you? What does your brand live, breathe, everything, every day? What is important to your brand and your ideal customers? And then, of course, these come together to create your voice so you can then share that with the right people in the right ways. So this is broken down into 4 different areas when we speak about the voice section. So personality, tone, rhythm, and vocabulary. When we break these down, we can see that, like humans, brands have their own personalities and ways of interacting with the world. Human qualities, like you and I. So your brand personality is one section of your brand voice. It's the human qualities. It's the feeling, it's the cheekiness, it's the empathy, it is the vibrancy, it is the conversational or the stiff. Characteristics and qualities that humans actually have are important for your brand. A lot of people come to me with brand voice and they say, so am I supposed to write like me as a person? No, you're supposed to write, well, not supposed to, but ideally your brand voice will be made up of your vision, value, voice, but keeping in mind your ideal customer. So your values, your mission, and your purpose are a really important part of this. Let's say, you go to a party and someone's purpose, we got Susan in the kitchen. She's cooking up food, she's got it, she's the host, she's got a roast on, she's done a couple of salads. She comes out, everyone's sitting down, chatting, talking. She comes over, makes sure everyone's having a good time. I imagine a brand like this would be Airbnb. Once we start attributing these human qualities, we can kind of see like how our brand might be in the world. Similarly, let's be at that dinner party. I would imagine that a brand like Nike would be sitting down, having everyone very enthralled in a conversation, like on the edges of their seats, forgetting about the food. They are just wanting to like hear this story of like triumph and victory. With both of those things, you can see quickly their human qualities are things like Airbnb, comfort, friendliness, openness, making sure that everything is looked after. Nike, on the other hand, is very emotively connected to your story, your journey, your challenges, and everything that comes along with that. So you want to be thinking here about the impression people take away when they read your writing for your voice. What do you want them to feel? What do you want their lasting emotion to be connected with your brand? Think about it. So here are some ideas for some brand personality attributes that you might like to look at to start some ideas flowing. Chatty, friendly, loud, clever, funny, serious, easygoing, honest, silly, brave, lazy, not laxy. That's not a word. Smart. So you have to think about what, if your brand were a person, what would they be like? This is also really great. Say you're a virtual assistant, for instance, and you are writing for your clients. Having a profile of what their brand personality is so important. To be honest, without it, it's quite difficult to write anything for anyone because you're not sure of their brand personality and their values, their vision, everything that comes into being them. So have a think about these, and yeah, even with your own clients, to have a chat to them about what they believe their brand personality is made up of. This is something though, when I come to this part of voice chatting, I get a lot of, I want to sound professional, not friendly and conversational. I don't want to sound human. I want to sound like a professional. But let me ask you this. If you don't want to sound friendly and conversational, what do you want to sound? Stiff and distant? Because if you're creating more distance, a lot of the time professional writing is, I'm talking like board members, sort of engineers, very textbook kind of writing. It creates distance between the reader. They don't address the reader as you. They don't say we. They don't speak as though they're having a conversation. And this kind of makes the reader like, oh, you're over there, I'm over here, we're doing our things. Instead of thinking, hey, whoa, we're having a conversation here. You really care about me. This is important to you that I can hear what you're saying. So ideally, overall, if you are wanting to sound professional, that is up to your ideal audience. Who are they interacting with that they really like at the moment? What's their idea of professional? Look at a brand like MailChimp, for instance. They got a little monkey. Is that traditionally professional? Probably not, but they're a professional company who make loads of money and they have a very professional customer base, as far as I know anyway. So, 78% of consumers believe that companies focused on custom content are more trustworthy than those with generic content. This is where we come to a big shift in communication for companies at the moment, and I'm sure way into the future. People don't want faceless banks. They don't want big insurance companies that are hiding behind a logo. They want true human connection. That's why you see a lot of now your NRMA stories of real true stories. Airbnb is excellent for this, showing behind the scenes, heroing their customers. And a lot of bigger brands are now bringing things down to earth and making it more personal. I really love ING, the bank, their advertisements, because hello, Isla Fisher, Australia's sweetheart, but also they bring it down to what their customers really want and how they can deliver it for them. So that's definitely something to think about for your own brand and your clients when you're writing for them, because custom content is so important and it increases trust. And don't we want to be trusted brands? Absolutely. So then we come to tone. So our brand tone changes across platforms and places. It may be more upbeat on social media and more confident when requesting a contract to be signed. But that's not to say that you can't play with the words. You can't have a personality in those moments. It's just the level of how on you are, I guess. So feelings and moods may change. This is kind of how I like to think of brand tone. Your feelings and moods are different depending on the situation. I like to call it the margarita calculation. How diluted is your margarita? Is it, whoa, party mode, social media, we are having a hoot? Is it halfway there, celebrating with a client, having really fun times, but also holding back a little? Or is it mainly soda water with a little bit of lime and you've got your books on, you're having a client meeting, you are onboarding a client, that type of thing. So a lot of the time we find that we're more on social media like Instagram or Facebook, maybe less on LinkedIn, and weaker in proposal documents, invoicing, contracts, and those more serious parts, although they can still be fun. My contract is definitely customized to be more fun while still ticking all the legal boxes. And then our voice also has brand rhythm. And this is something that I think people forget exists, but basically it's the pace and pattern of words. So is your brand kind of, let's say you are a very creative brand, you would speak in probably more metaphorical, long, flowing sentences that take people on a journey. Or are you focused more on immediate results, short, sharp, offbeat, short sentences, and short paragraphs that are easy to scan because your ideal customer has no time to waste? So are they offbeat and jarring, or melodic and woven? Think about how you're putting together sentences and you'll be able to see kind of where you fit at the moment and if your pace is communicating what you want to those people in the right ways. It's how fast the writing becomes. So shorter sentences obviously make the writing kind of stilted here and there, but they also can speed it up a bit. Instead of continually going on a long sentence, shorter ones are sharper. Also, as part of this, word length. If you're using a lot of long words, that's going to automatically just be more difficult to read. If you're using shorter words, you'll notice, have a look at Good Pair Days, for instance. Look at their short, simple words. Very easy to understand. Obviously not like a robot like I'm speaking, but much easier to digest, more conversational, more like you're talking with someone you know. So brand rhythm is really important to creating the scene or the atmosphere of your writing with that speed and pace. I get my days when a voice seems to whisper in my ear. This is where I just wanted to go from Farnsy to Barnsey, and this was the only quote I could find. But essentially what I want to speak about now is your voice of customer. So your vocabulary is the final piece of the puzzle to your brand voice. This is all about the words you choose to use. Was it a sunny day or was it a sunshine, yellow, raining on my face kind of day? Was it a sad day or was it a melting into a puddle of brown day? What type of words are you using? What type of speech are you using? Are you using a lot of metaphors, similes? Are you using a lot of shorter, snappier sentences and words that better describe what your customer is after? You can absolutely find a gold mine in your very own customers. So have a look at how they are communicating to you. Have a look at their sentence length. This is a sneaky way of showing a customer that you really get them, is to write to them in a similar style than they have to you, to use their exact phrasing and words. You might find that similar phrases and words are coming up quite often across customers, and this could be an indicator of their personal values. And I invite you to dig a little deeper and see, what are they valuing? What is it that they want from you? What is it that they're really passionate about and care about? And if you're finding similarities all the time, then that's a good place to start with your voice of customer within your own vocabulary for your brand. So essentially, we want to be what our customers want us to be, not what we want us to be. Because at the end of the day, our customers are who are purchasing from us. Of course, there is lots of parts of ourselves in our brands, but at the same time, we want to be who they want us to be. There's no point being a cookie, go-to skincare kind of, well, yeah, if your audience is 55 plus women who have feet problems, they are in a more, not so good. They want trust, they want value, they want people to understand their pain, they want a solution. They don't want this cookie fun side. So it's all well and good to really love brands with that upbeat voice. That's very cookie, weird, silly, whoa. But if that's not what your ideal customer is after, there's different tacks you can use to get through to what they're looking for and what will actually cut through the noise for them. So there we go. We've got brand voice, which is a mix of rhythm, words, vocabulary, and tone. But along with this, we want to know how to stay consistent. As we were talking about earlier, it's really important to stay consistent across all of our channels. It's also really important that for our clients and customers, that if we are writing for them, that we are remaining consistent for them. Because really, how can you do that without having something to refer to? So I myself offer mini voice guides, which include a bunch of stuff. Firstly, you do the quiz, which is heaps of fun. So we get your brand personality archetype. This is also something that is good to refer your clients to, so that it makes your job easier if you are writing for them, especially things like virtual assistants. Even I find web designers come to me for this, and also graphic designers, because they want to make sure that the voice and the visuals are talking together. So within this, you get a voice workbook. You also get your core personality aligned brands, which are complementary brands that you can look to for inspiration who share similar values to you. Your word bank, which is so handy. It's basically a list of words which are unique to your brand when we go through all things like your values and really hone into what it is that makes you different compared to your competitors. Also your word do's and don'ts. So this comes with how to use your actual language in a way that creates the feelings that you want in your customer. And then your 200-word brand bio, which summarizes what you do, who you do it for, and why you're different, which is sometimes hard to do for ourselves. I know for myself, I struggle with this, but for others, it is a really great way of summarizing who you are, because sometimes we lose touch of that. You also get a bunch of examples of your exact voice and how you communicate each of your values through that. And that's everything from me today. Thank you so much for coming on this voice journey with me. My name's Danielle Reid. I'm from Reid City Writing. And if you would like to chat voice, join me over on Instagram at Reid City. I love chatting voice. And as I said, remember to do that quiz because it's really fun. That's just at reidcitywriting.com. And I hope that you rock your new voice so well. Okay, bye.